All right, in this section, we're going to be discussing slope, which is basically the rise over the run. How much, if you were to describe a line to another person, one way you could describe that is to first give the point where the line crosses the y-axis, and then tell them the steepness of the line. Basically, well, to get to another point on the line, how many points should you go up and how many points should you go over? So that's called rise over run, and that's what slope is basically. If you're given an equation in the form y equals mx plus b, that coefficient of x, the number that comes right before x, that letter m is usually what we use to denote the slope, so how much you go up to how much you go over. And the letter b, or 0 comma b, is the y-intercept. That's where the graph crosses the y-axis. So, for example, if you have an equation like y equals 1/3 x plus 1, 1/3 is the slope, and 0 comma 1 is the y-intercept. So if you were to describe how to draw that graph, you could say start at, say, 0 comma 1. So you plot a point there along the y-axis, and then you go up 1 over 3. So rise 1, run 3 to get to the next point. Okay, so for example, here's another one. Y equals negative 5x plus 2. The y-intercept is 0 comma 2, so we start at 0 comma 2. And since the slope is negative 5, you would kind of think of negative 5 as a fraction. You can turn any whole number into a fraction by going negative 5 over 1. So you can say go down 5 and then to the right or over 1 unit to get to the next point. So let's see, and it always, to find slope, suppose you know 2 points on the line and you want to calculate what the slope is. What you'll do is take the 2 y coordinates and subtract them. That is what we'll call the change in y, or sometimes we use the Greek letter delta to say change, which is also known as the rise, over, subtract the 2 x coordinates, that's called the change in the x coordinates, or the run. So that's how we calculate the slope. Look at the change as it rises over the change in the x coordinates. So here's an example. Take 1 comma 3 and 4 comma 9. Calculate the slope by taking the difference of the 2 y coordinates, 9 minus 3, over the difference of the 2 x coordinates, 4 minus 1. So you get 6 over 3, which is 2. And now, if you know those 2 points, you can find the equation of the line by going back into that formula for the slope, and you could just replace one of those coordinates with x comma y. So, for example, if I use the coordinates 1 comma 3, you could do y minus the y coordinate of 3 over x minus the x coordinate of 1, and set that equal to the slope 2. Multiply both sides by x minus 1. And here, what you have, this is the equation in what's called point slope form. And you could even manipulate this further by distributing in that 2, add 3 to both sides to get y by itself. This equation right here is called slope-intercept form. Okay, either way, these 2 things describe the same line, just like these 2 points describe that same line. And you can graph that equation by connecting the 2 points, or by starting at your y-intercept at 1 and going up 2 over 1 to find your next point.